What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be naming the top 10 WWE Divas champions of all time. WWE has gone through many transitions over the years, so a lot of them better, like for instance the introduction of new belts and new types of matches. Nevertheless, as the company evolves, it also have to leave behind some of its most entertaining competitions they have ever hosted. One of those was the WWE Divas Championship. Yes, these days female wrestlers have new titles to compete for, like for instance the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, and the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. While those are all entertaining, it is impossible for all WWE fans to not miss the legendary WWE Divas Championship that the company had from 2008 to 2016. So for nostalgia's sake, here are the top 10 best Divas champions of all time. In number 10, we have Kelly. She's one of the women who spent little time holding the title, but it's hard to deny that Kelly was one of the wrestlers who most ferociously defended her belt. Nearly 5 years after making her WWE debut, Kelly won her first Divas Championship by defeating Brie Bella on the Power to the People edition of Raw. She feuded with the Bella Twins in the weeks that followed and successfully defended her title against Brie at Money in the Bank. After earning the right to face Kelly for the championship, Beth Phoenix shocked the world by turning heel in the process, but Kelly soundly defeated Phoenix to retain her title in what was her best match to date. And after winning for 101 days as Divas champion, she dropped her belt to Beth Phoenix at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of wrestlers who held the belt who are more than worthy to be on the list, but it would feel unfair to leave Kelly out. Much of that because she defended her belt against one woman who was also a fierce defender of her belt, and one had to fight countless times against Kelly herself to win the championship for the first time, which is Beth Phoenix. As I mentioned before in the previous entry, it took quite some time for Beth Phoenix to finally get her hands on the coveted WWE Divas Championship belt. Beth Phoenix was one of the most dynamic performers during the Divas era. She was ferocious in her attempt to take the belt away from Kelly, and in August of 2011, she finally managed to do it in amazing fashion as she defeated Kelly with the help of Natalya in one of the most memorable women Hell in a Cell matches back in 2011. From there on, she reigned supreme as Divas champion for an amazing 204 days, and she finally got it taken away from her by one of the greatest Divas champions who I will talk about later in the video, Nikki Bella. Starting in August of 2012, Kayleen embarked on a journey to become Divas champion. Kayleen was originally scheduled to face Layla for the title at Night of Champions 2012, but she was attacked backstage by Aksana, which allowed Eve Torres to take her place. From that point forward, she chased Eve for the Divas championship, but came up short on winning the title at the Hell in a Cell and Survivor Series pay-per-views. Respectively, however, she was given one last opportunity to contend for the title on the 20th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. She defeated Eve in her hometown of Houston, Texas to capture her first Divas title. But if anything, the Divas division took a turn for the worst when she won the title. The ladies weren't featured on television on a regular basis for months end, but she became relevant again once AJ Lee entered the title picture in one of the most entertaining rivalries I've ever seen. Sometimes it seems like it is not about how long you can maintain the belt, but it's about how many times you can fight back to regain what was taken away from you. Paige did it once. Her combined reigns as WWE Divas champion lasted for 121 days. The first NXT Women's Champion, Paige, made an immediate impact when she debuted on Raw after WrestleMania 30. That night she made history when she ended AJ Lee's reign when she became the youngest WWE Divas champion. Nevertheless, it was a memorable 121 days, starting off with how she won the title. After going to the ring to congratulate AJ Lee for retaining her championship at WrestleMania, the champion berated Paige and said that she was going to take her out right there than she did 13 others the day before. To add to the occasion, this was Paige's first day in the main roster. As fate would have it, she defeated an overconfident champion in her first day out of NXT. She became WWE Divas champion. One of the hardest things to do in the WWE and the wrestling world as a whole is to hold your titles. It is unbelievably hard for someone to become a champion of anything. Nevertheless, once you become that champion, you have the eyes of the entire world on you. We have people coming from all sides trying to take what is yours, which makes what Maryse did as WWE Divas champion all the more impressive. Michelle McCool's 155-day reign came to an end on the December 26, 2008 edition of SmackDown at the hand of Maryse. Maryse successfully defended her title against the likes of Maria Kanellis, Michelle McCool, and Gail Kim. After all, she was a long-time diva who had the longest reign as WWE Divas champion. For 216 days, she reigned supreme over the Divas division until she had it taken away from her by Mickie James, and in one of the most amazing rounds in WWE Women's history. Sometimes it seems like if you have the name Flair, you are bound to be great. Ric Flair was one of the greatest wrestlers this world has ever seen, and the fruit did not fall far from the tree, as his daughter Charlotte Flair had a case of being one of the most successful female wrestlers of all time. On July 13, 2015, Charlotte Flair was one of the 4 horsewomen who debuted on Raw. WWE recognizes this date as the start of the women's evolution. Charlotte ended Nikki Bella's record 201-day reign at Night of Champions 2015, and in the following month she revitalized the division and set a new precedent for the WWE Women's Champions. Going along those lines, she was without a doubt one of the most memorable WWE Divas Champions. Charlotte only had one reign with the Divas belt, but everything about that reign was memorable. She fought all of the big names to retain her title, from Paige to Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. They all tried to take it away from her, but Charlotte was supreme, and she probably would have kept it for longer if WWE hadn't done away with the Divas Championship. The list would never be complete without the first ever Divas champion. When the title was introduced back in 2008, it was none other than Michelle McCool who rose to the challenge and took the belt for herself and became the first ever WWE Divas champion. That was just the beginning of the division and the outstanding 222 days she spent as Divas champion. She went on to become the first woman to hold both the WWE Divas and Women's Championships when she defeated Melina at the Bash in 2009. She and Layla formed the Cool later that summer, and the duo eventually unified the WWE Divas and Women's Championships. Although Nicole was the official champion, she and Layla carried separate Divas belts as unofficial co-champions. It is hard to find someone who benefited as much from the new division as Nicole since. Even after she lost the belt, she would go on to have one of the most successful times in her career teaming up with Layla. There is no one more synonymous with the Divas title or that era as a whole than Nikki Bella. Nikki's first reign was one of the most forgettable reigns in the history of the WWE. However, her second reign changed everything. Nikki beat AJ Lee with some help from Brie Bella to become the greatest heel in the championship's history. The second to last woman to hold the WWE Divas Championship belt before it was done away with, Nikki Bella is arguably one of the most impressive people who have held the belt. Yes, she is the multi-time champion, but there was something about the Divas belt that seemed to click. Nikki loved that thing, and she fought for it as if it was her birthright. She even resorted to her shady tactics when she defended her belt from Charlotte before she got it taken away from her. In total, Nikki had that belt twice and was a runner-up in terms of divas who held that belt for the longest time, as the total combined weight tallies up to 307 days. Eve Torres became the first Divas Search winner to capture gold in the WWE by winning the Divas Championship. One of only 2 people to hold the WWE Divas Championship 3 times in her career, Eve Torres was one of the most memorable WWE Divas champions. In a way, we can say that her entire career revolves around her connection to a particular belt, as she pretty much quit the WWE after she lost the Divas Championship belt for the third and last time. Nevertheless, her time as Divas Champion was memorable, as she held the belt for a whopping 261 days in total. Sure, she was not successful as the only woman to have held the belt for 3 times in her career, but still, taking a championship belt that many times is not easy, and her success in the WWE has been easily recognized. Now, making a list about the WWE Divas Championship without mentioning AJ Lee on it would be nothing short of an abomination. AJ Lee is my definition of pretty but deadly. This woman is the clear personification of the championship. She is the belt because she has held it 3 times alongside Eve Torres, and she has held it for as long as you can imagine. AJ won the Divas Championship back at Payback 2013 against her former best friend, Caitlyn. That win was amazing. She has had the most championship defenses of all the women that have held it. Unfortunately, she lost to 295 days later to Paige on Raw after WrestleMania 30. She won it again on Raw June 30th when she returned, and lost it again on SummerSlam 2014 against Paige. And she won it for the final time in her career at Night of Champions, and lost it at Survivor Series 2014 against Nikki Bella. AJ went for 3 times and has had a combined 406 days as Divas champion. That is more than an entire year. No one has come close to her combined record. She changed the direction of women's wrestling inside and outside the ring. She undeniably inspired fans who created the hashtag Give Divas a Chance and forced WWE to change the way they treat their female superstars. And that is why she has been recognized as the greatest Divas champion of all time. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description below. And I'll see you guys in my next video.